I had a lot of tears for many days. I mean, days where I'm literally laying on the floor in the carpet.
Bill and Melinda Gates announced their divorce after almost 3 decades of marriage, leaving the globe in amazement. It was like seeing a great power couple fall before our eyes. They were the embodiment of prosperity, generosity, and harmony. But something had changed. Melinda decided to divorce Bill, which was everything from normal. It was a stunning shift that threw everyone off surprise. Everyone was left wondering what drove her to make such a life-changing choice. The reality of their breakup is more stunning than you may expect. Melinda Gates recently broke her silence and revealed what precipitated her divorce from Bill Gates. Join us as we reveal the horrific truth that Melinda had kept concealed for years. But first, to comprehend the backdrop, let us look at their connection from the beginning. The beginning of Bill and Melinda Gates' life together. When Melinda French started working at Microsoft in 1987 as a product manager, she probably never thought that she would eventually meet the guy who would go on to become not only her husband but also one of the most important people in the world. During a sales meeting in New York City, Melinda was introduced to Bill Gates, who was one of the co-founders of Microsoft. Their first encounter was not precisely a case of love at first sight. When Bill originally asked Melinda out on a date, he did so in a manner that seemed too premeditated for her. 2 weeks in advance, he proposed a date for the evening. She responded in a straightforward manner, stating that she had no clue what she would be doing that far in advance and that she did not find him to be spontaneous enough to her taste. For his part, Bill was not the kind to give up quickly. 1 hour later, he phoned her again and said, "Is this spontaneous enough for you?" Throughout the conversation, Melinda must have been impressed by that action because she made the decision to give it a try. This light-hearted beginning laid the groundwork for what would eventually become a partnership that was filled with shared aspirations, difficulties, and ultimately heartache. Fast forward to 1993, when Bill made his proposal to Melinda, which was 6 years after they had their first date. It is known that they celebrated their engagement by going on a vacation to Africa later that year. However, the specifics of their engagement remain mostly classified as private. The trip turned out to be more than simply a holiday. It turned out to be a momentous event that influenced their whole destiny. While they were strolling down the beach in Zanzibar, they had a talk that would alter the way their lives would unfold from that point forward. It was at this location that they started talking about how they would utilize the fortune that Bill had earned from Microsoft to make a difference in the world. This discussion ultimately resulted in the establishment of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in the year 2000. Since then, the foundation has grown to become one of the most recognized charitable organizations in the whole world. Hawaii was the location of their wedding, which took place on January 1st, 1994. Their wedding was held on the island of Lanai, and in order to protect their privacy, they took considerable measures to conceal the fact that they had chosen to have it there. It has been alleged that the couple purchased all 250 rooms at the Manali Bay Hotel and even booked all of the helicopters on Maui in order to completely prevent any intrusion from the media. Only 130 members of their family and close friends were present for their wedding, making it a small and private event. After a period of 2 years, in April of 1996, Bill and Melinda became parents for the first time to a girl whom they named Jennifer Catherine. The time that they became parents was a momentous occasion for both of them. During this time period, Melinda, in particular, made a significant choice. She chose to quit her position at Microsoft in order to become a stay-at-home mother. Bill found this decision to be rather difficult, and he was taken aback by her selection. Melinda, on the other hand, was certain that one of them had to remain at home in order to bring up their children and inculcate in them the principles that they so much valued. If they wanted their children to grow up with the same values that they did, she thought that it was essential for one of the parents to be actively engaged in the children's lives at home. Years before the Gates divorce, the couple made a significant stride in their philanthropic endeavors in December 1998 by establishing a children's vaccine program. They announced a $100 million investment with the objective of enhancing the distribution and accessibility of vaccines in developing countries. This action was indicative of their mutual dedication to effecting change in the world. Their commitment to global health issues was further underscored by their recognition at the Charity for All Kids benefit, where they were recognized alongside Hillary Clinton the evening prior to this announcement. In May 1999, Bill and Melinda welcomed their second child, a son named Rory. The following year, Melinda has frequently discussed Rory's character, characterizing him as profoundly informed, inquisitive, and compassionate. She observed that he has developed into a feminist and shares his parents' passion for puzzles, which fills her with immense pride. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation was formally established in 2000, which was a significant year in their lives. The Gates Learning Foundation, which was established to provide personal computers to libraries throughout the United States, was consolidated with a foundation established by Bill's father. Bill's wealth from Microsoft and Warren Buffett's substantial contribution were the driving forces behind the establishment of this new entity. Melinda underscored the fact that this was a partnership of equals. She desired for the world to comprehend that they were co-managing the foundation together, with their shared values serving as the foundation's guiding principles. In addition, Bill and Melinda were able to find time to appreciate each other's company, despite their hectic schedules. In October 2001, they were observed exchanging a tender moment during a tennis challenge in Seattle, demonstrating that they continued to prioritize their relationship despite their hectic schedules. In September 2002, a year later, they welcomed their third child, a daughter named Phoebe. Melinda has expressed her admiration for Phoebe, characterizing her as intelligent, amusing, and compassionate. She articulated her aspirations for a world in which young women, such as Phoebe, have equal opportunities in an essay for Time. Their commitment to philanthropy was not overlooked. In 2005, Bill and Melinda were recognized as Time's Persons of the Year, sharing the distinction with Bono of U2 under the title The Good Samaritans, years after committing $750 million to vaccine access and distribution. This acknowledgement served as a testament to their dedication to enhancing global health and the influence of their foundation. In 2015, Melinda Gates made a courageous move by establishing Pivotal Ventures, a company that is committed to enhancing the position of women in the professional world. Melinda sought to address the gender inequality disparity by providing women with the opportunities they merit in their professional lives through a $1 billion pledge. This was a significant development that underscored her dedication to creating a meaningful impact that extended beyond her work with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Bill and Melinda's philanthropic endeavors were acknowledged at the highest level in 2016 when they were awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom. It was a fitting tribute to the couple's untiring efforts to enhance the quality of life worldwide, as this is the most prestigious civilian award in the United States. Their foundation had already achieved substantial accomplishments, including the eradication of maladies and the enhancement of education on a global scale. However, the acknowledgement did not conclude there. Once again, the French government bestowed the Legion of Honor upon Bill and Melinda in April 2017. This award, which was one of France's most prestigious, served as a testament to their ongoing commitment to humanitarian causes, thereby further solidifying their status as global philanthropists. Bill and Melinda were able to allocate time for themselves in the midst of all of these accolades. They provided an insight into their intimate lives in a 2018 interview with People. Bill disclosed that they delighted in collaborating on jigsaw puzzles and viewing television programs such as Downton Abbey in their entirety. Despite the poignant sequences of the show occasionally prompting them to reconsider, Melinda mentioned that they were watching This Is Us at the time. In spite of their hectic schedules, they derive pleasure from these straightforward pursuits. Melinda also contemplated the robustness of their partnership, observing how they collaborated to guide their foundation, exchange ideas, and refine each other's perspectives. Bill and Melinda had been married for 25 years by 2019. Melinda shared a humorous story from their wedding day and a heartfelt tribute on Instagram to commemorate the occasion. She described how Bill, the consummate mathematician, attempted to divide the wedding cake into precisely computed portions, only to discover that the cake contained a cardboard center. The love and hilarity they shared over the years were exemplified by this amusing memory. According to Melinda, "I thought my heart was full that night. but the last 25 years have taught me just how full a heart can get. The couple contemplated the origins of their relationship in the 2019 Netflix docuseries, Inside Bill's Brain: Decoding Bill Gates. When they initially encountered one another, they were preoccupied with other matters. Melinda was infatuated with her other partners, while Bill was preoccupied with Microsoft. However, their relationship intensified as time progressed. From being partners to being separated. Bill and Melinda once again assumed responsibility in March 2020 as the global community struggled to address the pandemic. Their foundation has committed $125 million to the fight against the virus, which will be used to support the development of vaccines and the research of treatment options. This action demonstrated their dedication to global health and their aspiration to contribute to the cause during one of the most difficult periods in recent history. Nevertheless, Bill and Melinda announced their intention to divorce in May 2021, following 27 years of marriage. In a joint statement, they underscored their unwavering dedication to their foundation and their mutual conviction in its mission. However, they also recognized that they were unable to continue to develop as a couple. Considering their extensive history of collaboration, the news was a source of surprise for many. Their divorce was finalized by August 2021. Melinda maintained her identity, and the couple remained dedicated to their philanthropic endeavors, despite the dissolution of their marriage. However, the inquiry remains, what precipitated their division? They appeared to be living a faultless existence from the outside. Therefore, what was the source of their distress? Behind the gates of divorce, what really happened? The world was taken aback when Bill and Melinda Gates disclosed their divorce. How could one of the most influential couples, who were renowned for their shared philanthropy and seemingly flawless existence, decide to separate ways after 27 years? The reality is that the situation was not as flawless as it seemed on the surface. Bill Gates, a billionaire philanthropist and software savant, has been the subject of numerous reports, and allegations regarding his conduct have surfaced. It is uncertain whether Melinda was aware of these behaviors or whether they were directly responsible for the separation. This discovery undoubtedly contributes an additional dimension to their narrative. The issues in the couple's marriage, according to those who were close to them, were not wholly novel. The divorce was the result of a combination of factors. According to a source, they stated that the couple's decision to separate was significantly influenced by the graduation of their youngest daughter, Phoebe, from high school. The source suggested that Bill and Melinda, like many other couples, may have maintained their relationship for the benefit of their children. Nevertheless, the rationale for maintaining the marriage appeared to diminish once their children had graduated from school. Bill and Melinda appeared resolute in their efforts to maintain a civil tone, despite the emotional obstacles they faced. As the source noted, neither of them desired to invite additional scrutiny, as it could potentially undermine their credibility. It was not their intention to undermine one another. Nevertheless, there were allegations that Melinda and her family were extremely dissatisfied with Bill. Some sources even asserted that her family had supported her as a result of unspecified actions that Bill allegedly committed. However, the emphasis subsequently shifted to their professional and philanthropic endeavors as the dust settled on their personal affairs. Bill and Melinda were both profoundly committed to their foundation, and it was anticipated that they would continue their work there. However, did they? Before we address that, there is an additional startling revelation that has not been well received by both fans and critics. Bill Gates' unusual agreement came as a shock to many. Bill and Melinda Gates' divorce was one of the most widely discussed events in recent history. Not only did it involve a substantial fortune, with Melinda reportedly walking away with approximately $70 billion, but it also revealed a peculiar aspect of their marriage. Bill and Melinda had an agreement from the outset that he would spend one weekend annually with his ex-girlfriend, Anne Lindblad. Indeed, you have received it correctly. However, it appears that Melinda was content with this arrangement. Bill and Anne's relationship has been established since the 1980s when they first encountered each other at a computer conference. They were not only romantically involved, but they were also intellectual companions. Despite the conclusion of their romantic relationship in 1987, they maintained a close friendship. Anne's companionship was so valuable to Bill that he obtained Anne's approval before marrying Melinda. Anne granted her approval for the union, characterizing Melinda as possessing intellectual fortitude. Bill and Anne maintained their annual tradition of vacationing together, and their friendship persisted after Bill and Melinda wed. These were not your typical beach excursions. Rather, they were sanctuaries that focused on the most recent developments in biotechnology and bioengineering. Although the vacations were purportedly platonic, they entailed a degree of intellectual engagement that Bill held in high regard. Despite the fact that this arrangement may appear unconventional to some, Melinda embraced it. In the end, Melinda characterized their marriage as irretrievably broken. Nevertheless, this was not the sole contributing factor to the dissolution of their marriage. In a candid interview with CBS Morning, Melinda disclosed that their marriage was terminated not due to a single issue, but rather a combination of factors. Therefore, although the annual vacations with Anne Lindblad may not have been the primary cause of the separation, there was an additional significant factor that contributed to this conclusion: the relationship between Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein's controversial connection. Bill Gates initiated his association with Jeffrey Epstein shortly after his conviction for human trafficking and sex offenses in 2011. This relationship endured for an extended period, culminating in a 2013 visit to Epstein's residence with his wife. Gates acknowledged that Epstein's lifestyle was unique and captivating to him. However, he also stated, "It would not be suitable for me. Currently, the precise nature of their relationship is uncertain." Gates has stated that he only encountered Epstein once and did not maintain a business or personal relationship with him. It is surprising that Gates visited Epstein on numerous occasions, and they reportedly engaged in discussions regarding the Gates Foundation and philanthropy. Nevertheless, Gates refuted the assertion that Epstein was involved in the Gates Foundation or its charitable endeavors. Then, in August 2021, Gates expressed his desire for Epstein to assist in funding philanthropic endeavors. However, this notion was never implemented. The scrutiny was further heightened by the revelation that Gates had traveled on Epstein's private aircraft. Gates's visit to Epstein's private island was not confirmed, despite the existence of rumors. The situation was further complicated by the revelation that Epstein and Gates had conferred with Thorbjørn Jagland, the Nobel Committee chair, in Strasbourg, France, in 2013. Representatives from the International Peace Institute, which had received millions from the Gates Foundation, participated in the discussion regarding the Nobel Prize. More drama emerged in 2023, when it was reported that Epstein had threatened to disclose an alleged affair Gates had with a Russian bridge player. This added an additional element of controversy to Gates's connections with Epstein, indicating that the relationship was more intricate and problematic than initially believed. Melinda Gates reveals Jeffrey Epstein's role in the divorce decision. In a recent interview with Gayle King on CBS This Morning, Melinda French Gates provided new insight into the reasons behind the dissolution of her marriage to Bill Gates, which had lasted for 27 years. Melinda reported that the separation was precipitated by a variety of factors, but one of the most significant was Bill's affiliation with Jeffrey Epstein, a deceased financier and convicted sex offender. Bill's meetings with Epstein profoundly troubled Melinda. As she stated, "I did not like that he had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein." She also disclosed that she encountered Epstein only once. "I entered the building with the intention of ascertaining his identity, but I was immediately disheartened by the experience." Jeffrey Epstein was the subject of Melinda's strong disapproval, as she described her interaction with him as troubling. Bill Gates acknowledged that his meeting with Epstein was an error in response to these revelations. He expressed his remorse for the meeting with Epstein in a statement to CBS, stating, "I regret it deeply. It was a significant error in judgment." Melinda's remarks offer a clear understanding of the obstacles that precipitated their separation. She clarified that the problems with Epstein were not isolated, but rather were part of a broader array of issues in their marriage. The intensity of their disagreements is underscored by her intense feelings regarding Bill's interactions with Epstein. So, although their divorce was the result of a variety of factors, Bill Gates's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein was a substantial factor. However, What were the other factors? The untold dark side of Bill Gates. Bill Gates and Melinda French appeared to have a stable relationship when they married in 1994. Nevertheless, the situation was not as flawless as it appeared. According to reports, Bill Gates pursued other women at work after their marriage. For example, in 2006, Bill attended a presentation by a female Microsoft employee. He then sent her an email following the meeting, inviting her to dinner. He additionally wrote, "If this makes you uncomfortable, pretend it never happened." This was not an isolated incident. Approximately 1 year later, while he was in New York for the Gates Foundation, he made an unsolicited advance toward another woman who was employed by the foundation. Some employees experienced an uncomfortable environment as a result of these actions. Bill Gates's advances were frequently imprecise and occasionally inappropriate. However, they were not perceived as predatory by a significant number of individuals. It appears that he did allow women to decline his advances. Nevertheless, this type of conduct exacerbated tension and gossip within the Gates Foundation and Microsoft. Years later, in 2019, the Microsoft board investigated a case in which Bill allegedly pursued an intimate relationship with an employee in 2000. Bill's resignation from the board the subsequent year was necessitated by the severity of the investigation. Nevertheless, a spokesperson for Gates stated that the incident from 2 decades ago was resolved amicably and that his decision to resign from the board was unrelated to this issue. However, what was Melinda's perspective on this? The impact of these incidents on Melinda French Gates has been openly discussed. She disclosed the manner in which she discovered Bill's adultery with a staff member during a public appearance. She was under the impression that they had resolved these matters. However, she ultimately came to the realization that the marriage was no longer viable. Melinda acknowledged, "It was not a single incident or moment. There just came a point in time where there was enough there where I realized it just wasn't healthy, and I couldn't trust what we had." Bill must respond to inquiries regarding additional prospective indiscretions, Melinda emphasized. She never anticipated that she would become divorced. However, she believed that she was compelled to do so. "I certainly subscribe to the concept of forgiveness. Therefore, I believe that we had resolved some of that," she stated. Melinda has discovered a newfound sense of optimism. Despite the anguish of the separation, she discussed her emotions. Ranging from periods of complete disorientation to periods of rage, the separation was a period of lament for her, as she mourned the loss of a relationship that she had once believed would endure for an eternity. Melinda Gates stepped down from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Melinda Gates' statement in May 2024 that she would be resigning from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation caused a significant impact on the philanthropic community. After more than 2 decades of collaboration with her ex-husband, Bill Gates, Melinda determined that it was time to pursue her own agenda. The announcement she shared on Instagram indicated that she would be retiring on June 7, 2024. She emphasized that this decision was not taken casually. Melinda took pride in the foundation that she and Bill had established in her post. She discussed the foundation's remarkable efforts to combat global inequalities, Melinda's concern for the foundation team, and the global partners with whom they have collaborated. Nevertheless, she also expressed her readiness to concentrate on her own philanthropic endeavors, particularly those that benefited women and families. Melinda will be allocated an additional $12.5 billion to these causes as part of her departure. Therefore, what was Bill's response to this? Bill Gates responded by posting on LinkedIn to convey his appreciation for Melinda's contributions to the foundation. He recognized that she had played a critical role in the development of their strategies and initiatives, particularly in the areas of global health and gender equality. As a co-founder and co-chair, Bill expressed his remorse at her departure, but he also expressed his confidence in the substantial influence she would continue to have in her future endeavors. Melinda reiterated that the decision to depart the foundation was not made casually when she made the official announcement. She declared that the foundation was in a strong position and that the time was ripe for her to advance to the next phase of her benevolence. She will now concentrate on her own organization, Pivotal Ventures, and her ongoing efforts to assist women and families. In her interview with Time, Melinda articulated the rationale behind her decision to depart from the foundation. She was prepared to assume complete responsibility for the allocation of all funds, a responsibility that she has since fully embraced. Despite her departure from the foundation, she was confident that it would continue to flourish under the guidance of Bill and CEO Mark Sussman. Melinda Gates' divorce, which had been finalized 3 years prior, was a significant event in her life as an emotional voyage. Melinda French Gates disclosed the intense sentiments she encountered during her divorce from Bill Gates. She recounted numerous days of agony, stating, "I shed copious amounts of tears for an extended period." She recalled moments of profound despair as she lay on the floor and pondered, "How is this possible? Is there a method by which I can rise? How will I proceed?" She acknowledged that she experienced wrath in addition to the sorrow, stating, "That is a natural aspect of the grieving process." However, Melinda also expressed a glimmer of optimism. She is now enthusiastic about the future, having prioritized her own recovery. She disclosed that she initially separated from Bill before ultimately concluding their divorce in 2021. She expressed her gratitude to God for the opportunity to manage family responsibilities while privately addressing matters, stating, "I am grateful for the ability to thoughtfully disentangle their lives." Melinda expressed her perspectives on the potential impact of the divorce on the foundation during an interview with Time magazine. She acknowledged that the decision to dissolve her marriage was profoundly personal. However, she also considered her children and the foundation during that period. She desired to guarantee that all of her priorities, her children, the foundation, and herself, would remain unaffected as she progressed. Unfortunately, that was not feasible. Nevertheless, Melinda's decision to resign from the foundation was not a result of a reduction in her workload. Rather, she viewed it as an opportunity to exercise complete control over the allocation of funds, a responsibility that she is prepared to assume. Melinda also contemplated the timing of her divorce. When the pandemic was still in full force, she made the decision, which provided her with some seclusion during a difficult period. The pandemic provided her with the opportunity to reflect on the conclusion of her marriage and devise her subsequent actions. In hindsight, Melinda acknowledges that the divorce was an essential step for her. She and Bill had collaborated to establish a substantial nonprofit organization that prioritized gender equality, global health, and development. However, she is certain that she made the correct decision to depart and pursue her own path as she continues to advance. Did you know that Melinda is a co-founder of the Giving Pledge, an initiative she co-created with Bill and Warren Buffett? In addition to her work with Pivotal Ventures, the Giving Pledge is a voluntary initiative that encourages billionaires to donate a minimum of 50% of their wealth to charitable organizations. Melinda's dedication to philanthropy remains unwavering, and she is prepared to make an even greater impact in her own unique manner. Melinda remains optimistic about the future and is resolute in her commitment to continue making a positive impact on the world, despite the obstacles she has encountered. Melinda French Gates is finding joy and normalcy after divorce. Melinda French Gates has been candid about the emotional toll of her divorce, which is never a simple process. She expressed, "Divorce is an atrocious experience, and it is simply excruciating. It is a terrible realization when you realize that you require one." Melinda has discovered newfound happiness in her life since the separation. Despite the pain, she has adopted a more straightforward and satisfying lifestyle following her divorce. "It has been delightful," she stated. The nature of her present relationship with Bill was described as cordial, but it was not one of friendship. Melinda now relishes the advantages of residing in a walkable neighborhood, as she can easily access local stores, a drugstore, and even a restaurant. She is ecstatic about the newfound independence and convenience. On a personal level, she is enthusiastic about her future and is cautiously re-entering the dating scene. "I am tentatively wading into the water," she stated with a smile. Meanwhile, in a May 2022 interview with Today, Bill Gates also contemplated the divorce. He described the year of their separation as difficult and accepted culpability for the suffering it inflicted. Gates, who was then 66 years old, acknowledged, "The divorce is undoubtedly a sad event. I am responsible for inflicting a significant amount of suffering on my family." He remains optimistic about the future, despite the sorrow, and expressed his satisfaction with the fact that all of us are moving forward now. Melinda and Bill are both progressing in their own unique ways, with Melinda discovering new joy and Bill acknowledging his past errors while maintaining a positive outlook. What are your opinions on Melinda's strategy for achieving contentment and new beginnings in the wake of such a significant life transition? Please share your views in the comments section below and remember to subscribe to this channel for additional video updates.